agencies frequently, and they both play an important part in the sector.
Okay, so where are we now? I mean, here's the problem also now, since we still are in political football land and you haven't been taken the system out yet, the member item funding system exists the way it does today. You have the legislature and the governor completely at odds. And so where are you? I know you're going to come tomorrow and you're going to sort of yell at the sky and as people do so many times in Albany. But where are you? I mean, are you talking to the governor? Are you talking to the legislature? And is it possible that this is going to, because it looks bad, right? That's the problem. The public, because of me and my brethren, have see this as pork, and that's negative. And so if the governor puts it back, and the legislature takes it back in an election year, particularly in this type of an election year, it's going to look bad.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of setting priorities, and that's part of the problem, is the governor kind of took an axe and took out all of these programs all at once, right? I mean, individually, albeit in his signing ceremony, but he didn't really do the due diligence necessary to go through and say, you know, oh, here's programs that help feed the hungry, here's programs that help the homeless, here's programs that help veterans. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And all of these are critical funding programs that are needed. So I think the governor, unfortunately, didn't look carefully at all of these programs. I think we really need the legislative leaders and the governor to work cooperatively, which we haven't seen. I don't know if we will see or not, but we're going to certainly urge them to do that. Come back to the table, try and figure this out. There's obviously a lot still up in the air right now. The Senate hasn't passed the revenue bill. The governor's putting the soda tax and wine and grocery stores back on the table. He's throwing the property tax cap in. Certainly not doing the things he's doing is not in the spirit of cooperation, it seems, right now.
Yeah.
So.
And many of these agencies are funded on an ongoing basis. So it isn't that all the additions to the budget are new and the governor has to evaluate them in a few hours. The state agencies that work for the governor and administer these contracts, they're familiar with these nonprofit service delivering organizations over time. So it isn't impossible to provide some feedback to the legislature as to who's doing a good job and who's not.
Are you worried going forward into the next administration? I mean, we assume it's going to be a Cuomo administration, but we just don't know because of the uncertainty of elections. But are you worried, particularly in this atmosphere where there's such a negative feeling about member item spending, that the future of member items could be problematic and then the future of nonprofits subsequently would be hurt? Sure.
And so I think what we have to hope is that the new governor, who will probably be Andrew Cuomo, there's a chance it might not be, but whoever the new governor is, I think what our hope is that they apply some rigorous checks and balances, and that they look at the economic impact of what they're proposing. Because I think what the underlying failing of our budget process this year, it's been more like an accounting process than an economic analysis. So the governor is not distinguishing between programs that have a tremendous economic impact, those that have a modest economic impact, and those that have very little economic impact. And I think that's what we need to do.
Ron, do you have any parting thoughts here before we run out of time?
I think that the reality is one of the biggest problems we're facing right now, and what we want to really address tomorrow, is this is in effect a breach of contract, because these programs and services have been, these nonprofits have contracted with the state to provide
sue. Isn't that what people do?
Well, the problem is that, you know, there's that clause in everybody's contract that says based on the availability of funds, so the governor has taken these funds away, so they're no longer available, right? So, you know, nonprofits have gone painstakingly through a planning process, have built their budgets around the fact that they were getting this money from the state. You know, they can plan for the eventuality that there are no more member items into the future, but to take them away midstream, I think, does a tremendous disservice, and not only affects the nonprofit, but greatly affects the people they serve.
Well, we will be catching up with you tomorrow, I'm sure, but thank you very much, Ron Deutsch, and also Frank Mauro, for joining me.